What if I were to tell you that every week you can better predict which wide receivers have a better chance of smashing against certain defenses with one really simple stat? I want to find these defenses that are not only bad, but they maybe play a lot of zone or they play a lot of man, and I want to find those mismatches. Sometimes we have a team where one dude is really good against zone, really bad against man. Take Marvin Harrison Jr., for example. He's somebody that really only performs against zone defense. So when he's playing against a team that plays a lot of zone, that's usually when you want to start him or fade him conversely, right? So make sure you guys like this video, man. It really helps the video reach more people. Make sure you subscribe too if you want to catch more of this. Let's go. We're going to be starting this video with the Dolphins. So we got Jets at Dolphins, and we see here on this chart that I'm going to be showing throughout the entire video, so just get used to it here. It's successful plays allowed percent on the left side, and then on the x-axis down at the bottom, we have EPA play per against. So meaning how much EPA per play do they allow? And we see that in this chart, Miami Dolphins are down horrendous. They're way at the bottom left. They're one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And they play man coverage, the 10th highest, 28% in the NFL. 28% doesn't sound like a lot, but in the NFL, most teams are playing a lot of zone. So 28% is actually quite a lot. And on the Jets, we got Jets versus Dolphins. Garrett Wilson sticks out to me. I mean, naturally, he's kind of like the only wide receiver you can start. You're probably starting him anyway. I just want to give you guys the extra bit of confidence. Garrett Wilson does have an 82.1 PFF grade against man. He also has like a 73 against zone, so he's good against both. He produces against both. The Dolphins, as I mentioned, they play man defense quite a lot. I think this is going to be another massive volume game, another game that he potentially gets into the end zone yet again. Now, I just want to preface, dude, I just want to say that this video, these are kind of your players I think are going to eat against certain coverages. That doesn't mean that the defense they play doesn't switch things up, right? They can always play a lot more man than we think when usually they'd play zone. Think about the Cowboys, who are going to be on this list later. They've been playing a lot of zone, but it's been going down throughout the season. They've been playing a little bit more man as the season has progressed because their defense has been so bad, right? They're trying new things. So I use this data. This is not financial advice. I use this data as kind of like an anytime touchdown bet. If I'm making a parlay bet, I'm looking for players that I think can go over their receiving yards or maybe they'll score a touchdown. This is what I'm using. It's been working for me pretty well. And let's move along now to Green Bay at Cowboys. We know that the Cowboys, again, on the EPA chart, bottom left, they're right there next to the Dolphins. And they play zone coverage, as I mentioned, the number one most in the NFL, 85.1%. They play man defense 4.8%. So very rarely, it is going up a little bit. It was like 100% in week one against the Eagles, and it has gone up slightly. So now we need to figure out which Green Bay wide receiver do we want to start against a team that plays a lot of zone. And we know that Dubs and Wicks, historically, not only this season, but in past seasons, they were really good against man defense. They're kind of your man beaters. Wicks specifically, he has like a 4 yards per out run against man coverage. So with the Cowboys playing the most zone, Matthew Golden is somebody that sticks out, man. Now, he's got 39 of his very measly 50 yards against zone. So take from that what you will. It's one of his better coverages in general, just the way his profile is. He's a very speedy wide receiver. He's kind of smaller. He's shiftier. He can kind of find those empty areas in the zone, right? That's kind of what he's good at. And with 3 weeks of increasing snaps usage, everything's going up with Matthew Golden. He's getting manufactured like rush attempts also in these games. So listen, man, it's the second worst pass defense. Golden should explode, right? Big, all caps should explode here. Let's be honest, man. We know what's probably going to happen in this game. We're going to be chasing this fucking man's breakout till week 17. We're in the toilet bowl. We're in the consolation bracket. And we're like, this is the week, brother. Golden's going to pop off. It just feels like this is the type of player where he's getting so little volume. It's an offense that wants to move the ball all around, right? They want to spread the ball around to all their different players. This is a tough one. It's tough to start him and to say I'm starting him with full confidence. It's like an environment. It's a defense. It's a game that should potentially be high scoring. Let's see if the Cowboys can actually operate against this Green Bay defense, which is also really good, right? So he should explode. We'll celebrate if he does. We'll cry when he gets overthrown again on an 80-yard touchdown bomb. But I like him this week. I think he's the guy that's going to have the best success against this Dallas Cowboys. And now let's move along to Chargers at Giants. The Giants, surprisingly enough, play man coverage the third most. And according to the EPA chart, again, one of the worst teams. They're down there in the bottom left quadrant. They play zone 51%, 31st. So they play one of the highest rates of man coverage here. And when I was looking at the Chargers wide receivers, obviously Lad McConkey, the Conkster, he has been far and away the number 3 option for the Chargers. It's been brutal. He was the highest drafted, and he's been the worst one to have in fantasy football. But listen, man, in week 3 against the Giants, who play one of the highest rates of man coverage. I was looking at the data, and I'll show you guys the man PFF grades as well as their targets and yards per out run and stuff. And we see that the Conkster actually has the highest PFF grade in against man coverage. 73.4 PFF grade. Nobody else is over 65. Trey Harris is actually really good against man. He has like a 2.3 yards per out run. He's an absolute stud from college, but he's just not being used. He's like the fourth guy there, maybe even the fifth guy behind KLS. But nevertheless, man, the Conkster, 21 targets through 3 weeks, no end zone targets, which is brutal, but he has the best PFF grade against man. And he's marginally the most productive against man as well. We see here that he has 58 yards against man coverage. No one else has over 50, right? We got 48 from Keenan, 46 from Quentin. So he is theoretically the best against man. Now, I know Quentin is also kind of a man beater. He didn't do too well last game. That's why his PFF grade's a little bit lower because he was playing against Surtain. I think he still did really well against Surtain considering everything, but I think this might be the game, guys. I don't know why I believe this, but I think the Conkster is going to pop off in this game. He's the forgotten toy, right? He's the toy that got tossed out. Everybody's down on him. People are saying you should, trade him straight up for Quentin Johnston. I fucking said that in a recent video. And I don't know, man. I just feel like the vibes, the aura around the Conkster right now, Lad McConkey, is that this team's going to get him involved. I just have a feeling. I don't know why. Against man, he is the best that they have when it comes to PFF. These are people that watch the games and, score the players, how they do on those routes. Let's move along now to Buffalo versus the Saints. Now, this is a game, I'm just going to preface this from the top and say, this can easily be a game where Buffalo just, James Cook has like 58 fantasy points. He has like 3 touchdowns, and Josh Allen has another 2 on the ground. They could just blow the fuck out of the Saints. But if someone's going to eat, they do have one of the worst secondaries, according to the chart yet again, and they do play zone, the 8th most in the NFL. That's 79%. So if this is a team, the Saints, they're bad, and they play zone. That's the fucking thesis. So let's look at the Bills wide receivers, and we see that Khalil Shakir against zone, not only does he have the highest PFF grade, he's also been the most productive. He has 74 yards, 6 targets, 6 receptions. Last game, also against heavy zone, him and Kincaid both got into the end zone. They both scored a touchdown. They both did pretty well. And Keon Coleman, after his, really good first game, which was heavy man coverage, he's been trash. He is not a guy that knows how to get open against zone coverage. It's usually Shakir. It's usually guys like Elijah Moore, potentially. It's usually Dalton Kincaid. So the likely outcome in this game is that James Cook has 43 touchdowns. Fucking, they don't even need to use any other wide receivers. But what if somebody eats? What if one of the wide receivers is needed? What if this defense just shows up on a random Sunday? I can see Khalil Shakir eating. He is the guy that I would choose from this lot, as well as Kincaid. I think you can safely put both of them in your lineup after Kincaid. I mean, Kincaid is like the number 4 tight end through 3 weeks. He's been actually really great. My dumbass drafted him and dropped him like before the season even started. Still regretting that. But nevertheless, so you can feel pretty confident with Shakir and Kincaid against this Saints defense. Just keep in mind, it could easily be James Cook that pops off as well as Josh Allen. So let's move along now to Kansas City versus Ravens. Ravens play man coverage the 8th most, and they're not very good at it. They've been giving up one of the highest points in the NFL. They give up a lot of points to teams. They're shootouts pretty much every game. Their defense just straight up isn't very good, right? And this is going to be another game that could be a shootout, could be a big high-scoring game. With the Ravens playing man coverage 32% of the time, that's 8th highest in the NFL. Let's look at which Kansas City wide receiver. There's not a lot of good options, but which ones are best against man? And I looked, and instantly I see Tyquan Thornton's name. Not only does he have a 76.5 PFF grade against man, he has 3.2 yards per out run. He's got a touchdown. He's got 112 man yards or yards against man. He's got, 10 targets, 7 receptions. He is absolutely feasting against man. Like, it is legit. It's 3 weeks of data now. We see Marquise Brown, also fairly good volume against man, but not a lot of production, right? Only 39 yards here, 9 targets, but I think a lot of that came from the first week. So we do have Xavier Worthy coming back. That throws a little bit of a wrench into the situation, but I would personally feel pretty confident starting Tyquan Thornton this week. I know he just popped off. He had like 18 fantasy points. And whenever this happens, and then we put him into our lineups, the very next week, they're going to be absolute cat shit. I know how it works. I understand. But the signals are all there, right? This can be a high-scoring game. The Chiefs might be losing this game early on if the Ravens get off to a hot start. And the Ravens do give up big plays, man. They have a beatable secondary, so I think he can find the end zone yet again, maybe a deep bomb. And now I move on to another game that could end up being a shootout again. I think it's just 2 bad defenses. We got Vegas against the Bears. And the Bears play man coverage the 4th most. They have a bad defense. They give up a lot of big plays. But the problem with the Raiders is that there's not really someone who eats against man. They haven't really seen a lot of man so far, but let's look at the chart and we see, man, the first name that stuck out to me was Deonte Thornton. Now, bear with me, man, before you click off this video, call me dumb. 3.11 yards per out run. He's got 56 yards against man, 4 targets. That is tied for the most on the team. Now, the problem is that he's a part-time player, man. He only played 59% of snaps last week. In week 2 it was 81, and then in week 1 it was 60%. He's not getting a lot of volume. He's yet to have more than 4 targets, but he's had 4 targets in every game. Now, this is a thing where he reminds me a little bit of Tyquan Thornton, kind of your burner, kind of your deep bomb guy. He does have the best PFF grade as well against man. So look, man, like my gut is telling me that Trey Tucker is the guy you want because he does have a touchdown against man already. But there's something, man, if you're in DFS or you're doing like an anytime touchdown parlay and you're looking for someone with like a fat odds, that's the dude that I would personally put in. Again, it's not financial advice. That's just what I feel. I don't know, man. I can imagine him having a big game. I can just see his name on next week's waiver wire video. So I would be starting Deonte Thornton or Trey Tucker, and I would be avoiding Jakobi Meyers, man. Against man coverage, which the Bears love to play a lot of. Only 33 total yards, only 4 targets, 2 receptions against man. Jakobi Meyers is the slot guy. His PFF grade is not very good against man. So it's either going to be Tucker or it's going to be Thornton. Thornton seems like he's a little bit better, a little bit more productive. His yards per out run are good against man. This is a potential game where he shows up, man. He shows up in a big way. After all the Trey Tucker hype, everybody's dropping fab on him. I can see Thornton breaking a lot of hearts, popping up for like a deep touchdown here, having like, 15 fantasy points or something. Again, it's just looking at the data, man. Don't shoot the messenger. And now I move on to a very exciting player, somebody that you're probably already starting. We got Carolina versus Patriots. The Patriots play man coverage, the 6th highest in the NFL, 33%, and they're bad. They're bad at it. We see them here. They're below average in everything defensively. So, EPA per play as well as successful plays allowed. They're below average, right? They're in that left quadrant that we do like to target. And when we look at the chart, we see Tetairoa McMillan instantly sticks out to us. He's got an 87.9 PFF grade. He is fantastic against man. Now, the problem with it is that they just haven't seen a lot of man. We see that there's only been 11 targets, 11 passes thrown against man coverage. 8 of them went to Tet. 3 of them went to Renfrow. Renfrow does have a touchdown, 26 yards on that. So Tetairoa McMillan's the only guy that really has like significant damage against man. He's got 5.88 yards per out run against man. He is, 94 yards, 8 targets. So he's fantastic against man. He's one of the best in the NFL. He's a big body guy. He can win contested catches. He's phenomenal. This is a guy that I think is in a smash start this week. He has yet to really do too much so far this season. I think the most fantasy points he's had was like 13.5 PPR. Maybe it was more in full PPR, but I think you should go out and trade for this man. I think if you're looking for someone who's got upside and you're looking to buy low on someone, Tetairoa McMillan is the guy, dude, especially now before this week where they're going to go up against not only a bad defense, but a defense that plays a lot of man. This is like an explosion spot, man, against this Patriots team. So that does it for the video, guys. Those are the players that I think have mismatches, defensive mismatches, guys that I love. They're kind of outliers. Some of them are obvious, right? Garrett Wilson, Tetairoa McMillan. But I hope you guys like this video, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think down below, man. If you got any other sneaky starts that you think are going to pop off this week, let your boy know down in the comments. Make sure you guys join the Discord. We're talking ball. Dope community, tight-knit, growing. It's actually growing a lot, man. There's quite a lot of people in there now. We're talking ball every day. So I will see you guys tomorrow when we do waiver wire stashes. I'll catch you guys then. Peace.